U.S. President Donald Trump is waging a war of words with legendary Watergate reporter Carl Bernstein over a story about his ex-lawyer Michael Cohen. On Wednesday, the president called Mr. Bernstein a sloppy and degenerate fool who invented stories. Mr. Bernstein fired back on Thursday, tweeting that he spent his life bringing the truth to light and no taunt could diminish that commitment. His story reported Mr. Trump knew about a 2016 meeting with Russians. Trump calls for CNN boss to be fired. On Twitter, the president said CNN is being torn apart from within over refusing to admit their mistakes, adding that Mr. Bernstein is being laughed at all over the country. The story in question had quoted sources as saying that Cohen, the president's former personal lawyer, was ready to testify that Mr. Trump was aware of the June 2016 Trump Tower meeting between his son, Donald Trump Jr., and Russians who said they had dirt on Hillary Clinton. Who's Who in Russia Trump inquiry. Cohen's attorney, Lanny Davis, revealed on Monday that he was CNN's source and has since recanted his statement. CNN has stood by the story and Mr. Bernstein, tweeting at the president, "Make no mistake, Mr. President, CNN does not lie." On Thursday, Mr. Trump called for CNN President Jeff Zucker to be fired over the network's hatred and extreme bias towards him. The president continued to lambaste U.S. media on Twitter, saying they only have their hatred and agenda, adding that the media is also responsible for fake books. Mr. Trump's clash with Mr. Bernstein comes as fellow Watergate reporter Bob Woodward is set to release a book next month detailing life inside the Trump White House. What was the CNN story? Mr. Bernstein co-wrote an article that had multiple anonymous sources claiming Cohen said the president was aware of the June 2016 meeting. That meeting involved Mr. Trump's son, his son-in-law Jared Kushner, then campaign chairman Paul Manafort and an influential Russian lawyer, Natalia Veselnitskaya. In the 27th of July article, CNN stated Mr. Davis had declined to comment and quoted multiple anonymous sources. The next day, The Washington Post also reported on the claims and cited Mr. Davis as a source. On Monday, however, Mr. Davis confirmed to BuzzFeed News that he was CNN's anonymous source and retracted his claims. "I made a mistake," he said, adding that he should have been clearer to reporters that he could not personally verify the information he gave. When Mr. Davis appeared on CNN with Anderson Cooper last week, he said, "The reporting of the story got mixed up. CNN stands by its story." Trump supporters argue Mr. Davis' statements undermine the original article. Cohen's case has stoked speculation he could testify against Mr. Trump in Robert Mueller's investigation into alleged Russian meddling 2 years ago in the U.S. elections. He pleaded guilty to 8 counts of tax evasion, bank fraud and campaign finance crimes last week. U.S. President Donald Trump is waging